Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hi. Hi, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Okay. Welcome to my Ping Talk series. I am the host. I am Ping. Okay. I'm the host. I'm in the trade of customized size mattresses and bed frames. So if you would like to know more about what I do, you can check out the website in the description, right? So my talk show is really about connecting businesses and connecting people and having uh, um, professions like Stewart today, my guest coming on board to talk about his profession, right? So welcome, Stewart.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for having
Yes.
me.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Okay. So before I allow Stewards to to talk more about his trade, let me just formally introduce him. Right. Okay. So Stewart is actually a self-described coffee nut. Okay. Okay. And otherwise an introvert and quiet person. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You never know that what kind of landmine words that you will trip on in a conversation with coffee that cause him to dribble incessantly about coffee. Started out with a coffee cart making terrible coffee for hundreds of people. Okay, that would be interesting to find out more. So he claims that his fortune manner of learning how to make a consistent good cup of coffee. So he has since ventured into coffee roasting in a bid to further his interest and control over coffees he loves under the brand Raison and Habitual Coffee Roaster, providing cafes and individuals with the generation of coffees as his belief is that everybody can find a cup they love. So to find out more about his never-ending love and pursuit into coffee, and here is Stewart. Welcome, welcome, Stewart
Hello.
again.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. It's my honor to have you. Yeah. So I think it was a very interesting, when I first met you, understanding you about like a very enthusiastic about coffee, and of course, having to know about the knowledge that you have on coffee roasting. I think that is really the very part that I think that a lot of people would be very interested. So yeah, so why not you start to share with regards to like how your journey with regards to coffee started? Yeah, go ahead,
So
Stuart.
okay, thank you. So I think I've always been drinking coffee. So like many people, I think my first foray into coffee is kopi. Then after that, you always think like atas coffee is Starbucks, and I think I started drinking when I was like a bit underage, like 13, 14 years old. I started drinking already, but I I think it really start to open my eyes when I was in my university years when I had the opportunity to go to Perth. Then for some reason, right, I decided like I went to Perth and I realized, hey, the coffee is actually very nice. Then on one of my second last days there, I was like, I'm gonna go binge drinking. I'm gonna do cafe hopping and see what's the maximum I can take before I something might happen to me lah. So so I drank
So that
eight
was like
cups,
how many cafes that have you been through actually?
eight cafes,
Escape. Oh,
eight
okay.
cafes, and I went there with a friend. Out of the eight cafes, two of them is beer. He cannot take it, so he drank beer, and I still drank coffee. Coffee is cheaper than beer actually. So no, beer is cheaper than coffee. I'm sorry. So weird. But anyway, I think I was inspired to try to start something of my own when I went to my seventh place for coffee. And I use the word
Mhm.
place because it's actually a van. And out of this van, this guy just made a very delicious cup of coffee, and I drank it. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And it's after seven cups, so it's overwhelming already. At that point of time, I was kind of numb, but then I was still trying to push on to do this thing lah. Then um then from then on, my whole perception changed. So at that point of time, before that, I was like, oh, I want to work for Starbucks. I really like drinking coffee. I want to become the marketing director. I was my major is in marketing anyway, so I always wanted to work at Starbucks. But after I drank that coffee, I was like, maybe I should look for a, a another brand. Then at the point of time, I didn't understand the word specialty coffee. I was like,
Mm.
I want to look for somebody that takes their coffee quite seriously, lah. But
So what were you doing that time actually? You were working on other.
I after graduation, I was working in a construction company actually as a marketing executive. So it was very strange. Was the only place that wanted to hire me lah. Then I think a few years down the road, just 2 3 years only. I think manifest destiny, right? An opportunity came along. Someone was selling away his coffee cart. Then I was like, oh
Mm.
yeah, 3 years ago I drank this nice coffee and I I really want to try this. I have no coffee knowledge, zero coffee knowledge. I've worked in a cafe before, did rubbish coffee, but wasn't really taking the job quite as seriously because you're like a mid post army diploma uni type of guy. So I didn't really pay much attention to what I was doing. But then when I decided to jump into this coffee cart, right, I I didn't know what I was doing. So I fortunately the previous owner gave me a 1 day crash course. 4 days later, like you mentioned in the intro, my friend hired me to his event, and I served coffee to 100 professionals for the Asia oil and gas thing. And it was terrible on the first day.
Oh, so
But
it happens on like a few days, 2 days. Oh,
yeah, in like 4 or 5 days, like
five
that. Once
days.
once I
Okay.
got a coffee card, then I texted them like, hey, I got this coffee card, but I think I'm gonna start a coffee business. But I was also working there. I was like, I'm not sure how this will work, but anybody like something might happen. Then it happened. Then uh
But I mean, seriously, that's how it started. When I first started doing photography, it was the terrible the first time round as well. Yeah.
really.
Okay. But things went well the second day, I guess.
Yeah, went back home, watch YouTube, see what people are doing, then try to correct my mistakes. Then, like as you mentioned just now, it's like uh I think I serve like 200 cups. Then I always tell people when I teach them coffee class, right? It's like, oh, you if you really want to do proper coffee, you want to be consistent, right? You join me for one of my coffee cuts, because I guarantee you by the 50th cup, you would get it right already. You make
So
mistake
you mean
after
like on
mistake.
the first day, literally there are people complaining about the coffee?
No, nobody complained, but when I made it, I was like, this is bad. Like you can tell, then like there's
Ah,
no art. No one really
okay.
came for feedback, but then subsequently I think was like 30th 50th cup there, about then I start to got hard already, like the foam looks okay, then you kind of roughly understand
Mm,
what's going on.
mm.
uh
Okay. Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, okay, so that's how you started in terms of your coffee. So after you started this coffee cut kind of stuff. So I mean, of course, you were saying like you were working at that point of time, right? So
Mhm.
when did you actually going full time into this coffee stuff?
um I think like I knew this was my endpoint, but my careers have never really like gave me a huge salary lah, but money is necessary in
Mm,
Singapore. So uh I think was until COVID, because right after that I keep diving, like during my off time I keep diving into learning more about coffee, then went into roasting,
mm,
etc. Then I think was during COVID, when I saw the opportunity that it's the best time to open cafe. I didn't have a lot of money, and I but it was at that point of time where I knew, hey, this is the best opportunity for us to open a cafe, because the rents are cheap.
mm,
Everybody's scared. There is uncertainty, but I was certain that um, Singaporeans, for some reason, we cannot save money, and we are always dying to go out. So the moment the circuit breaker happened, right? Wow, the you can see huge long queues at Koi and whatnot. So I think I got together with a previous associate. he funded that business, and I opened a small cafe at Potong Pasir. Um,
Mm.
it did pretty well at first, but then we had our internal differences, and I left the business lah. But from then on, that was 2020, so 2021. So that was like 3 years, 3 years ago. And from
Mm.
then on, I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna full time into doing coffee.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard that. I mean, of course, you were sharing, previously briefly to me about like coffee roasting portion of it. I think I think that you did, mention that like there's a lot of effort, or maybe there's. I mean, coffee roasting, roasting the beans itself is actually a very important aspects of having a great coffee, right? So
Mm,
yeah, so I think the audience would be actually very interested with regards to know a little bit more with regards to the coffee roasting process that you are doing every day, and also like what exactly are those uh things that you look out for, and also like sort of like things that interesting thing that you come across, I mean, every day, as a coffee roaster, in your work.
So I think like I just studied first. So I decided to go into roasting because I realized that last time I used to buy coffee from other people. Then I'm like, I
Mm.
cannot really find the taste that I want. Like um I think because I was trying to calibrate, like trying we use the term calibration to find the taste. I was trying to find the taste that I want in other people's
Mm.
coffee beans. Then I realized I cannot find. Then I decided to dive into doing roasting. Then um so in all essentially, right, roasting, it's very different from, like, a lot of people always ask me like, oh, you roast like Nanyang coffee like that. Actually, no. All I deal with basically is just fire and air, heat and airflow lah,
Mm.
essentially. Then the only two other scientific terms will be convection and conduction heat, and to what degree. So I think the motivation for me as a specialty roaster is to bring out the natural flavors of the coffee seed, coffee bean, that
Mm.
comes from the cherry, um, that the farmers have put in a lot of effort. Then, in my own interpretation, bring out that flavor through only flame and air, without adding any other things. There's no butter, no sugar, no corn, that kind of thing into that process. Um, yeah, I think it's within that even though it's like a very simplest, like it's a very simple, just two areas, right? There is a lot of science to it, because like even right now, I would say that I'm probably only like 10-20% into the overall roasting world. The whole science of it is huge, because people are always trying to find new innovative ways, like whether we should spin the drum faster, whether there should be bigger fires, whether there should be
Mm.
better air, how that kind of thing. So uh but it's a never ending learning process, which I think it's something that is very fun for me. Then, in terms of quality wise, I always try my best to give the best quality lah, to
Mm.
again, is to my own interpretation, which is why I think this business is so interesting, because it's kind of like an artist, even though I can't draw. But at the same time, it's also a lot of science work onto it. Um, so per batch, when I roast, I provide coffees to cafes also. So periodically, right, especially when I see something is off, like this kind of off thing will happen because you're dealing with heat, and you're dealing with a machine, is essentially when something is off, right. Then I will always do a regular um, cupping. We have something called cupping, where we take a sample of coffee, and then
Mm.
we just taste it on our own. Then the other few factors are like really picking out, because the coffee cherries, right, are not all even one. Especially when you buy coffees which are where the score point is not as high. um, the tendency of defects, irregularities, right, are more apparent.
Mm,
So I will usually try my best to pick those out over roasted, under roasted coffee beans.
mm.
Uh,
So that
and
means at this point of time, are you telling me like so the roasting process? I mean, of course, you were saying the various roasting process.
mm,
So you have actually came up with your own roasting recipe for some of the types of coffee bean. I mean, which is kind of like what you mentioned earlier on, like a specialty coffee of your own that you have, right? Is that correct?
yes, recipe. We call it profiles lah. So yeah, I do have a certain profile to the different styles of coffee that that
Mm,
I pick. Undoubtedly, because I'm a micro roaster, so we usually work with importers. Then you can also find some of the coffees that I carry in other people's brands also, because we
mm,
essentially get it from the same importer, which is what I often tell my clients, like, then but you can taste the difference. Then I think this is where the interesting personality comes out, because
mm,
I might I might roast it a bit lighter than the other person. The other person choose to roast it a bit darker. Then
mm.
people are like, yeah, there's this variation in our coffee.
So I think ultimately, I think the roasting process, as what you mentioned, is I mean, it can be of the same bean sauce,
Yeah.
but the way that you roast it, the profile that you mentioned, would actually determines how the coffee will taste like ultimately, right? When it reaches the
Yeah.
consumers. Yeah.
Quite
Okay.
a big part lah. As long as the coffee don't roast until dark, uh, when it's light roast, yeah, you can tell the
So
profile difference.
currently, how many of these specialty coffee, I mean, are you offering for your clients?
Um, uh, Currently, at any given point of time, I carry about six different varieties of coffee with two blends. Um,
Mm,
so some of them are pretty standard. We have the Brazil and Colombia, where it's slightly more evergreen. Um, that one would always be there. Then the few others, about two coffees, especially the African origins, right? I have to
mm,
change it quite interchangeably due to harvest, um, import factors and whatnot. So it might be out of stock. So which which is good, because it opens up like a new option. It's a new flavor for the season, about every 3 to 6 months.
mm.
Mm,
Okay, that's quite cool. So
yeah.
currently, what are the popular ones actually?
The funny thing, Singaporean palate is the slightly chocolatey, buttery kind of coffee. So they really
Mm,
love the Colombia, especially the there's something that I borrowed it from my friend's company's namesake called Bowl Collective. So that one is
okay.
surprisingly popular. It's a bold, chocolatey, nutty flavor. Uh,
Uh,
Colombian coffees lah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So okay, then um okay, I wanted to ask, like, I mean, of course there are, I understand that you also sow your coffee beans not only to cafes, right? You also sow your coffees to, I mean, home base
Mm,
coffee enthusiasts, right?
yeah.
So I wanted to ask, like, I mean, for these people, right? I mean, of course, they will buy coffees, but is there any advice with regards to, like, what is the the best brewing experience, or how they can actually optimize in terms of from the roasted bean that you have in terms of brewing the coffee? Yeah?
I um this topic is gonna be very big. If there's
Very big.
something that I think people can focus on now, right? This is gonna be trending. I think it was trending. Then after it died, then it's trending again. It's water.
Mm,
So pay attention
water.
to the 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 minerals inside the water lah. How much carbonates,
Mm,
how much magnesiums there are. If let's say they can get like a good water filter, or they can buy like a Brita filter, right? It would immediately change their coffee by a lot already. then
Mm,
change the way that it tastes. Then other parts about brewing is depends. If you are dealing with a espresso machine, right? Then yeah, consistency plays a very big part. The other thing about coffee machine is actually be it whatever that whether you are hand brewing or you're doing an espresso machine, right? Um, People always spend a lot of money on the espresso machine, but actually the grinder is the thing that is most important
mm,
because the coffee grounds, the consistency is key to proper extraction. So this is something that I often tell my clients that like I know the coffee machine looks very nice. You want to spend a lot of money on it, but then you can buy a $10,000 coffee machine, but then you spend like $500 on $200 on a grinder. Your your coffee machine will be struggling to do its job.
mm.
So,
So people didn't know like the importance with regards to the grinder thing. They just thought that okay, I mean it's just a grinder kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah. So, so spend on a good grinder.
Mm,
Go and do a bit of research on water, then it would drastically change the flavors. Then when it comes to
okay.
espresso machine, my advice would be practice, practice, practice. Because it's just consistency. Just make sure your milk is done right.
Mm,
Your steps are okay. If it's the hand brew, that's the interesting part. If you're hand brewing, um, you can try to follow recipes online. James Hoffman, it's a YouTuber, or Tetsuya from Japan, that
mm,
kind of thing. But then the thing about hand brewing is you have a lot of space to create your own recipe. So go and be creative about it. Yeah, then
okay.
just enjoy the process. It's kind of like kung fu cha, that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, there's really a lot of knowledge in this particular thing, and you definitely have it. And okay, and I'm quite sure that like those people who are listening to it would probably like to know more about what you do. I think yeah, and I wanted to Stuart, I mean I was talking to you earlier on. I heard that you were starting a new brand,
Mm,
right? And it's called Habitual Coffee Roaster. I think this was also part of the introduction that I mentioned to you. So
yes.
yeah, just kind of like curious. So why do you call this your this new company name as Habitual Coffee Roasters?
Yeah, because I understand that the name can be quite generic, but I actually realized that I actually like it because it's a combination word of habit and ritual. Because to some
Mm,
people, coffee it's a habit. I know a lot of my clients, and in fact that's why they are my clients. They are my subscribers. They cannot live without a coffee a day. For them, it's a habit. For me and a few others, it's a ritual. Because like whenever I like you mentioned just now, the way that I roast, the way that I prep my coffee, for me it's kind of like a zen like moment, the way someone would do yoga, or
mm,
even want to go to like a religious prayer, that kind of thing. Like for me, it kind of sets myself into the mood to um like focus. So that's why the combination of habit and ritual, then it forms habitual. And it's also a far simpler name for my uh direct customers, because
mm.
Raison was a pretty difficult word for them to say lah. So,
Okay. Okay, I mean that's quite cool. So I think so Stuart, currently so how do customers kind of like get coffee from you kind of stuff, and how do if let's say they are interested to know more, I mean especially like for example like cafe owners who wants to consider to get coffee beans from you, your roasted specialty coffee beans, and also for consumers in general, how do they go about in getting coffee from you, the coffee
well,
beans.
yeah, the unfortunate part now is that my website is still undergoing construction. So
Mm,
I would very much like to have that e-commerce site where people are able to communicate. Currently, right now, for direct customers, I usually direct them towards Shopee. Um,
Mm,
I do have a Shopee link. It's raison.cw if I'm right. Then
mm,
raison dash cw. Then uh for cafes whatnot, right? You usually they will contact me via my WhatsApp.
mm,
So then after that we will have a conversation
mm,
for consultancy, because typically that's
mm,
where I'm able to perform the coffee customization for them.
mm. Okay. I think
Yeah,
yeah, I mean of course I think after the session wise I would share this steward's contact in
thank
the
you.
comment box, so anybody who are keen to reach out to Stewart to know more about his specialty coffee and also know more about coffee roasting, then of course can reach out to him. Yeah. So, Stewart, I also understand that like you previously also conduct kind of like some appreciation kind of classes kind of thing as well, right? I mean, are
Yeah.
you still conducting those?
Um, um, for the foreseeable first quarter, I'm unable to do that because I've I've got certain commitments lah. Um, yes, I do conduct barista classes and coffee appreciation classes. Um, so
Okay.
it's just for people to be able to understand and appreciate the different regions of coffee. Then when it's the barista class, it's just basically get your coffee right on a coffee machine.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, is there like and anything else that like you want to share with regards
Mm.
to you know your your work as a coffee roaster, you know?
So yeah, so back pedal to the question earlier,
Mm,
right? I'm actually gonna have a show at Artbox, which is why for the first quarter I'm unable to commit to
mm.
doing classes. So I it's Artbox
It's
and Expo.
an event at the
Yeah, I will have a
okay.
booth at Expo
Oh,
from the
okay.
28th to the 31st of January. So if the viewers, if you guys are free, just pop by. Say
Mm,
hi. You guys want to try my coffee? Just go ahead. I really don't mind.
okay. Okay. So
So
yeah, I mean, okay.
yeah.
So Stewart, you are saying like coming 28th January to 31st of January. Yeah,
Mm,
which is end of this month. So Stewart is going to have a coffee booth at the Art Box at Expo, Singapore Expo, right? So anyone who is interested to try his coffee, meet up with him, talk to him more, and understand more about his knowledge on coffee roasting. Yeah, you can one opportunity to look for him face to face would be the date that I mentioned, 28th to 31st at Singapore Expo. You can go there and try his coffee and talk to him. Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, I will share this um, Stewart's contact number, in the comment box. Anybody who is keen, especially for these cafe owners who wants to try out his coffee bean, do reach out to him. I think that I have tried his coffee and it's damn nice.
thank you.
Okay, though I'm not a coffee very coffee lover,
Oh,
but I must say that like for the various coffee that I've tasted, yeah, I think Stewart is something that you should really try. Yeah, especially the cold brew. I love it.
oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so Stewart, you got I mean we are coming to 30 minutes of the session itself. So is there anything you like to do another shout out to the rest before I end the session? And of course I'm happy that to see you here today to
Yeah.
share your experience on as a coffee roaster and your knowledge wise. I think 30 minutes is probably too short for you to share all the various things, but I think good enough for people to have a essence of what how experts you are in terms of the coffee roasting. So yeah, so thanks a
Oh,
lot. And is there anything else that you like to do a shout out before we end the session?
uh, I I think thank you for having me, and we should uh
No worries. I
have
mean,
a
it's my honor actually. Yeah.
yeah. So I I think just thank you for all the support to all my customers, and especially my family members who have been
Mhm.
very patient with me in this venture. So please keep a lookout. Follow me on Instagram, which is raison.cw, and that's where I will post the updates for my once my website is done. I hope
Do
you
you want to
guys
like spell it out to the audience?
uh spell it out. It's
R A.
RAISON. Yeah, RAISOND dot CW, Charlie
Mm.
Whiskey. Yeah. So follow me on Instagram, where I will post updates and all the going ons of my coffee. Hopefully, there will be an opportunity for me to post some techniques onto the onto my Instagram post as well. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Okay,
thank you, Ping,
so
for having me.
do follow Stewart, so you won't regret with regards to the things that you're gonna learn from him, and also the things that he's sharing. So okay, once again, I want to thank Stewart for coming on board today to share on this. So thank you very much, and also thanks especially also to whoever that is here that is hearing what Stewart has said. You know, hopefully it's also a good insight, a knowledge that you have understand a little bit more, and of course do reach out to Stewart if you need to. Yeah. Okay. Thanks and good night to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ping.
Yeah.
Good night.
Okay. So next week wise, I will have my first lady speaker. So do watch out for my next session. Okay. Okay. Ciao.
Okay. See ya.